Hey! Recognize this scene? If you remember a few weeks back, I did my Oktoberfest week of lives. Well, we're going to run it back. And we're going to do it again. But this time, it's not Oktoberfest. We're getting into a very autumnal spirit, as you could tell from the title of the live. And we're going to do a week's worth of live beer reviews featuring pumpkin beers. Now, the only way I could possibly start this off properly is with the king. The Pumpking. That's right. The OG of pumpkin beers as far as I am concerned. I had this many years ago, before the birth of Nutmeg to Palmetto. Before really even, well, I won't say before, but like very early in my craft beer lexicon. And we're going to do it right. And we're going to do this every night this week because we're going to do it proper and salt the rim. I have salted the rim with cinnamon, cardamom, cinnamon, and a little bit of nutmeg. Hey, nutmeg! And we're going to do this right. We are going to do this right and proper. Because that is actually the way this beer was served to me the very first time I had it. Pumpking, and yes, it is. I probably should have let it sit out a little bit because it is quite chill. But didn't think that for it. Now this one has now I just bought this in, I want to say, early September, and this has quite the lifespan on it. That's by 7/8/27. Can you imagine a 2-year lifespan? One of these days, actually, if anybody's watching this, and anyone who catches it on re-air after the live's finished, if you can get this in your area, which I assume is pretty much everybody, because Southern Tier goes nationwide distribution, grab one of these and stash it for 2 years and put that date, just so no one thinks I'm making that date up. Stash it for 2 years and see how it stacks up. And you know what? Stash it. Buy one today, tomorrow, this week, whatever. Stash it for 2 years. In 2 years' time, buy that year's version fresh. And do a side-by-side comparison. I challenge all my beer reviewers to do that. I didn't even know this. I didn't even know that this could last that long. So if you see a Pumpking, which you should, because it's Pumpking, it should be everywhere, buy one, stash it, and in 2 years' time, buy another one and do a side-by-side fresh versus testing the life of that date. So on the bottle, nothing on this side besides the Surgeon General's warning. Pumpking Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 8.6. The Pumpking himself on the side of the bottle, on the side of the label. And, yeah, there's nothing else. They are in Lakewood, New York. Originally out of Lakewood, New York. I'm sure Southern Tier is so big now. They've got lots and lots of different locations around the country. So, pop that open. I might have a Southern Tier label here. Yeah, I smell it already. All right. Not a Southern Tier glass, but a Southern barrel glass. So it's Southern something. And we'll give you the glory shot hard pour. Don't want to go too aggressive since I'm suspending it in midair. Oh, yeah. Isn't that sexy? Sexy time. Sexy time. Yeah, Pumpking. So yeah, comment below if you've ever had Pumpking, and I'm sure a lot of my beer reviewer brethren have. Rule on Pumpking. Yes, rule on indeed, because he is the king. The Pumpking is indeed the king of the pumpkin beers, again, in my opinion. Because to me, and I should ask this now since it's the first video of this week of lives, I should ask it now. When you have a pumpkin beer, do you want it to be big, bold, and slap you in the teeth, or do you want it to be a little more subtle? Because me, if you're going to make a pumpkin beer, I want a pumpkin beer. I don't want something that just is light and subtle and barely noticeable and kind of dancing around the edges. I want to be smacked in the face a little bit by pumpkin, by all the spices, very autumnal flavors. I can get this in the glass. And I'll let the live go a little bit to let people chance to hop on and catch this live instead of watching it on replay and having to sit through 5-6 minutes of. So, live is always better. Catch it live. And the funny part about the hard pour is you let it get up to the rim, and it's going to catch all those a little bit of the spices and let that settle into the beer. So whatever this flavors, spice flavors, autumnal flavors the beer has, it's going to be accentuated more than just drinking it off the coated rim, because the head's going to bring some down. So we'll talk about the color first, and it's got more clarity than I thought or remembered. Although when I drank it the first time, I didn't have a lamp in front of me. I was in a fairly low, moderately lit restaurant pub situation. But I can kind of see the text through the glass, or at least the shape of the text. So I mean, it's pretty opaque, but it's definitely got more clarity than I thought it would. Color wise is a low amber, almost apple cider, that type of color. Head wise, yeah, I mean, even with the spices bleeding in there, it's not. I mean, of course, the lamp is blasting down on a diaper, giving it a diaper white appearance, but it's really not diaper white. It's very much off white, ivory, that sort of game. Yeah, like the apple cider color. I'm hoping I can. There's not much left in there. There's one little part of the rim that didn't get very coated very well. Aha! Got it all in the glass. Beautiful. All right. Put the bottle down. Pumpking, the king indeed. Well, let's get the aroma. Of course, right now I'm just really getting the aroma of the spices on the rim. Slight fallback to doing things proper. And I've actually got a citrus nose, but I need to be careful about associating that to the beer because I used lemon juice to wet the rim of the glass. Yeah, you know what? This week may not be very good to detect the aroma because all I'm smelling is the spices on the rim. So let's do this proper, and I'm going to get a big mouthful of the spices as I sip the beer. But we're going to get right on with it. Cheers, everyone. The spices really hit, I'll tell you. I would assume with a 2-year Best By date, it's got to be a fresh beer. But I'm not getting a big, strong pumpkin flavor. And the first time I had this, I remember getting a big, strong pumpkin flavor. So I don't know whether I'm disappointed in the beer as much as I'm disappointed in. I'm not disappointed in my memory recollection. I know what this tasted like. But I'm disappointed that I don't know whether they tweaked the recipe or anything. That's interesting. Okay. No. I did get a little bit of a pumpkin flavor, but it is a significantly lighter pumpkin flavor that I remember. That I remember having originally back. God, at this point, it had to have been 7, 8 years ago, maybe even closer to 10 years ago. It had to have been a while ago. Um, this beer has been made for a long, long time. I get a spiced flavor, but I don't think it's the spices on the rim. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? Hopping on. Oops. Hopping on. We're kicking off my pumpkin beer live week with the OG, the Titan itself, Pumpking by Southern Tier. This is the first pumpkin beer I had many, many moons ago, so it's only right to kick off this week of pumpkin lives with this one. Well, I don't want to say it's the first pumpkin beer I had. It probably wasn't, but it's the first one I had that I certainly remember, and I probably had this beer about 9 years ago. Doing okay. That is very, very good. Good thing to hear. And you're up in New England, so I know you're got a lot of pumpkin beers up in that neck of the woods. Maybe it's just my palate. That's right. My former stomping grounds. Maybe it's just my personal palate, but I feel like this has a thinner body than I remember it, and it almost has a comparable flavor to something of a fest beer, not really a pumpkin or yam beer. It's got a grainy kind of malty backbone. So I don't know if so many years ago, maybe at the time Southern Tier was a little bit more micro than they are now, and maybe their recipes kind of been a little watered down. Because I remember this being significantly more pumpkiny. And at this point, I've taken several sips. At this point, I've taken several sips of it without the added benefit of the coated rim. So I should still. I mean, there's obviously I can see how there's a little bit in the head floating around in the head, but I should at this point be getting just the beer until I obviously take another sip from the coated part. But yeah, this is an interesting experience for me because I remember this being a lot stronger in pumpkin flavor, all those years ago. And I don't know if my palate's changed. I don't know if they tweaked the recipe. Like, I remember this being a tall glass of pumpkin pie. I really do. I remember this being a tall glass of pumpkin pie, liquid pumpkin pie. And now, to me, it kind of tastes like a very, very, very subtle pumpkin flavor in an otherwise like fest beer base. See, I mean, if Vanessa says it has to be true, I mean, it's definitely a proven fact in my experience as well that your palate adjusts over time. But yeah, I don't know. Southern Tier is so big. Ooh, excuse me. Southern Tier is so big. I don't know if it's my palate or it's them tweaking the recipe because they pump out this beer in particular so much every year. Yeah, I mean it's still an okay beer, but it doesn't bring me back to the memories I had of the first time I had it, which was just big blast pumpkin in the face. That's what I remember this beer being, and it's not giving me that vibe. But I've got several more in the refrigerator to do a live on throughout the week. So I hope the legend Vanessa will hop on again for the remainder of the lives this week. and I hope we get some of the other beer reviewers hopping on as well. I'm gonna end this right now. We're right at the 15-minute mark, and I'll see everyone tomorrow for the next Pumpkin Live. Cheers, everyone. Get down with a big gulp of cinnamon. We'll see you next time. As Paul from PA Brew News says, watch that finger.